welcome to another episode of I Have the Floor. As you can see, I have a lovely guest. Well, it's not really a guest, it's a family member. Today is going to be very interesting because we are talking about subjects that are probably hard hitting, I'll say. Subjects that a lot of people probably don't like to talk about. So I really hope that this has a lot of impact, and whoever needs to hear it, God has a way of doing what He does. You will hear, you will find out, and I'm sure it's going to be good. So I have my auntie, Yetunde, a.k.a. Slim, as you can see. Not like some of us. Not like some of us. Anybody that can guess her age, I'll send you £10. Just guess her age, I'll send you £10. I'll give you between 5 years, give or take, between both sides. But yes, no. Seriously, I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
My aunt is somebody that she's a firstborn. So my mom is a firstborn. So I understand the weight that you all carry. You didn't come in expecting that. They just gave birth to you and all of a sudden
You have responsibilities.
Exactly. And it's a position that I do not envy. I always say I'm a happy second born. I am more, if I come back, I'm more than happy. In fact, I don't mind the last born status. I'm more than happy to be behind a leader. Let them do the work. It's not something that I envy. I see my mom, I see you, I see what you do, how you have to be present, the politics you have to play.
Exactly.
How unbiased you have to be. Everybody comes to you and you have the last say. I see it. Even we do it with our sister, Chef Sia. Shout out to you. Well done. We are, like I always say, we are loyal to your government. We are very loyal because we can't make a decision without her. Honestly, anything we want to do, I'll say, okay, guys, the last three, we call ourselves the last three. We'll make a decision and then we'll say, okay, let's put it to Olori. And if she says, sorry, no,
That's it.
And she has veto power. So we just allow her to do what she does. So I'm proud of you in advance. So my aunt, we're going to be talking about her life story. We're going to be talking about how she has, the challenges that she has faced and how she has overcome them. And she's very truthful. So anybody that is not ready for that, well, I'll tell you right now, just pause it, go and pray, and then come back. And then maybe the Holy Spirit to minister to you. So the first question I have for you is, you were very young when both your parents died at the same time, right?
No.
So
Yele, thanks for having me. I'm so proud of you, and I'm proud of the woman you've become. I mean, Yele, I had your bath. Yes, I had this girl's bath. I had a bath. I did homework with her. Yeah. And Yele was very troublesome. So I'm proud of who Yele is today, honestly. So back to your question. We lost our dad when I was 9.
Goodness.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, when I was 9. And we lost my mom when I was 19. And you see, life is very, very funny. And sometimes God only knows how He does His things and how He arranges things. So, when we lost my dad, we didn't see any of my dad's relatives.
Goodness.
So we only used to have your grandma, who is my dad's sister.
Yes.
A picture in our room. Yes, Gigi. We used to have Gigi's picture in our room when we were growing up. But you see, I probably think we met Gigi maybe when we went for my dad's burial.
Goodness.
And we were 9 and we can't remember.
So that means anything. She's my big sis, but I call her Lamide. She's the last born of the family. Yes. So she must have been.
So Lamide was like 3 months old.
When you?
Yes. So she didn't even know. She didn't know him. No, she didn't. So when he happened, we didn't see any of my dad's relatives. We didn't see anyone. So my mom single-handedly raised all 5 of us. But God is awesome. Because 3 months before my mom died, God bet your my mom met your grandma.
Goodness.
Yes, 3 months my mom died. So my mom went for our best friend's daughter's wedding. And I think our best friend was saying, oh, Ronke, you know, Alaja is here. You know, you have to meet with her. You people, you need to sort out your differences. And I think as soon as your grandma, mommy, Gigi saw my mom, she just hugged her. And that was it. And I think the following week, if I remember correctly, Gigi came to the house,
of course,
and said, we need to see our grandpa. And my mom vehemently said that, oh, my girls, I've never been to Ijebu. I don't want anything I don't want anything happening to me. I mean, she was being protected. Because, I mean, my mom did not remarry. I mean, she lost her husband when she was 32. She never remarried till she died. And you see, she was supportive. She was there all the way. And I remembered Gigi saying, oh, my children go to Ijebu. Nothing has happened to them. Nothing will happen to your children. But they need to see their grandfather. So, of course, in fact, when we arranged to go to Ijebu, Gigi was very funny. If we need to drink water, she would say, no, they can't drink the water unless I drink the water first. And then Gigi would drink the water first.
No! Oh my
And then when, I mean, of course, Gigi had told them that we were coming. They had made arrangements for good drinks. My dad's siblings, his half siblings were ready. My grandpa was there. And anytime we want to eat something, I mean, Gigi would be like, no, you can't eat it. And then she would take a bite. And then she would tell us to eat it. So, of course, long story short, down the line, 3 months after my mom died, and the only person we could call was Gigi. The only person we could call. So that's why sometimes God has a way of orchestrating. He has a way of designing your life. He has already put people along the way to help you. So it's like a puzzle. He already knows who he will remove at a certain point.
Absolutely.
And who he will place at a certain point. So, I mean, Gigi, and you know, our life just changed.
Goodness.
You know, you can imagine me calling Gigi. I remember calling her on the landline and saying, our mom just died.
Hey!
Within an hour, she came. I saw my mom's lifeless body. She couldn't move. Her long hair was there. I remembered that she had been placed on the floor. And, I mean, my mom had money. I can't remember how much it was. But you see, I collected the money and I ran to give Gigi that
please just help us.
And I remembered stepping on my mom and I'm like, oh, sorry.
Hey!
And I remembered she was cold.
Hey!
She was cold. And Gigi took all 5 of us. And that's one thing I'll be grateful to her. She took all 5 of us. And I remembered Eric Moore.
Yeah, yes, now.
We all stayed in the room, the 5 of us. No, Olamide was in boarding house.
Yes,
yes. And it was 5 of us in the room. And we sat down and we were like, all we kept saying was, she can't be gone. She can't be gone. And you know, I remember Tolu was quiet. She didn't utter a word. And I just said, yes, this is reality. And you know, Gigi did something very significant. She would call us in the room and she would tell us, oh, the family will come. They would want to split all of you. But you know what? I'm the one that can take care of all of you.
Yeah.
This is what you will tell them. Tell them that all 5 of you must be together.
Yes.
And if you cannot be together in one place, they should take you back to your house and do burglary proof. And that's if they can afford it. And we'll all look at each other. Yeah. Because you see, we just met her. So it's like, And you trust.
Yes,
Yeah,
trust.
we
Yes.
didn't know who to trust. We did. I mean, this was someone that we only used to see a picture in our room. Now she has now become our savior. Do you understand? And the family members will come. They will have long meetings, and I'm sure she's had a meeting with your mom and her siblings, and I'm sure she'll have told your mom this is her decision to and trust. Whatever decision she makes, your mom will accept. And she'll say this is what she wants to do. And she and my dad were very close. I think my dad was her favorite. Yes. Oh, she would always say it unapologetically. She would always say it unapologetically that my dad was our favorite. And they will come, they will talk and talk and talk. And she will tell us, no way. And she will signal to us like, stand your ground. Eventually, they allowed us. And that was how Gigi became our mom. Goodness. Gigi became our everything. Gigi taught us everything, even though my mom had laid the foundation. Gigi taught us how to cook, how to arrange stuff, how to be a woman,
be an entrepreneur,
to be an entrepreneur, to be a wife, a mother, everything. There is nothing on the face of this earth that my sisters and I cannot do. Really, trust me.
That one I know, Sham.
Gigi taught me everything. Business, she taught me. Cooking, and I never liked cooking. Auntie Bimbo.
Auntie Bimbo is the
Auntie Bimbo.
Sorry, she's the guru. I'm sorry.
No.
Amala.
No, Auntie Bimbo was always in the kitchen, and me, I would dodge kitchen work. But she taught us to be dutiful. She taught us everything, all the skills you can learn. Even how to manipulate your husband. There is nothing under the sun that Gigi did not teach. And then, one thing I will be grateful to God is that the fact that she also taught my sisters and I the bond of unity. Yeah. The bond to be united. So, and she will tell us, you cannot fight each other. And then there's an outsider that will come and break you.
Exactly.
You need to stand as a united front. And when you stand as one, nothing can break you.
Yes.
So we can, my sisters and I, of course, we can fight. But you see, we are a force. You can't come against us.
Absolutely.
Oh, no.
Absolutely.
No, you can't try it. You can't. We are a force.
If we want to be in agreement, no is no.
It's no.
Yes is yes. Period.
So she taught us that. And of course, your grandpa, Alaji, was in support of her, because I'm sure I'm sure she would have actually, there is nowhere, there's no place or anywhere I can send these girls out. And even getting married, she was supportive of everyone, and any man that comes to look for you at that time, and Gigi knows your boyfriend. Super. And another guy now comes to look for you. She will just sit on the balcony and be singing one song. Please sing. That song. She will say, mi ò lè mọ́kọ ọmọ, kí n tún máa lè ọmọ. Meaning, I cannot know. The guy has not come to ask your hand in marriage. But the fact that this is the guy she knows, and she sings, and she welcomes, and then maybe your random friend just from school.
Okay.
And then you're just downstairs talking to the guy or nothing. And then Gigi will just sit on the balcony. And then she'll say, mi ò lè mọ́kọ ọmọ, kí n tún máa lè ọmọ. I can now know my daughter's husband. And I know my friend's husband. And then the guy downstairs will be like, what's going on? So, when it was time for me to marry, I remembered I was dating. I met Kay one day when I was going to school. And the first thing he told me, you won't believe. He just told me I want to marry. Yes, that was the
flame.
Sorry. I think the first time I was going to school, I was walking to school, and he just pulled up and said, hi. And of course, in my usual self, I'm like, excuse me, early in the morning. I say, baddie. Early in the morning, don't you have work? And then he says, you're so rude that I'm sure you were not raised like that. Blah, blah, blah. That anyway, but really, I didn't even answer him. And then he walked up to me boldly, like, I'm talking to you. Don't you know who's talking to you? And then, of course, I think 2 weeks after, he just came to the house. Yes, to Eric Moore. Because 2 weeks, yes. So, Uncle Bessie, you are bold. Oh, he was very bold. May so rest in peace. Amen. He was very bold. And yeah, 2 weeks after, I remembered very well. There was one strike. And, of course, Gigi will always sit on the balcony. Straight up to see. And Gigi said, oh, who is at the gate? And it was him. And he said, oh, that he's looking for a lady. Her name is Yetunde. And Gigi said, oh, you should come in. And of course, I was shivering. In my head, I'm like, what's this guy coming to look? I only met you like 2 weeks ago. Excuse me. What are you doing here? And he met with Gigi. And Gigi said, so where are you from? Meanwhile, you know, your auntie Bimbo too. Uncle Papa was a constant. He was a constant. He was like furniture at this point. He was constant on coming, and Gigi would always welcome him in the house. Standard. Oh, mommy, I joke. And then me, Grandma will be looking at me one night like, you. It seems you don't even know the direction the wind is taking you, Abby. He's not in this house because he's not in this house. He will not be a thorn in my flesh. And I'm like, what's wrong with this man? Free me. You will not free me in the kitchen. Then maybe when I go to work, I come back like 8 o'clock. She's already saying, what am I doing? Standard. Like, you will not bring one man home, Abby. And I'm like, excuse me, what's wrong with this one? Free me, I beg. I don't have time. I just want to enjoy my life. So, of course, Kay came along. And as soon as Gigi saw him, Gigi was like, of course, she will interrogate any man. So, where are you from? Who are your parents? This. And of course, he declared his intentions straight up. I'm telling you. Men, are you hearing? Please. And that is why I always tell girls that when a man sees you or you see him, he already knows if he wants to chop you or he wants you to be his future wife. Period. And you see, as soon as he just told Gigi straight that, oh, he wants to marry. And Gigi looked at him and was like, you look much older than my daughter. Why haven't you married? And of course he said, oh, that he's had disappointment, he wasn't ready. And of course Gigi said, how old are you? You know, she's 20-something, because I think I was like 27, 28. Because I know we got married 2002. I had Tomiro 2003. He died 2004. So I was in my 20s, late 20s, 29, thereabout. And we got married. And before we got married, we had a breakup. And I remembered going to meet your mom in Alaka and saying to your mom that, oh, I've broken up with him. And your mom was like, Kenny, you will go back. And you should have done her eye. She said, what do you mean? You don't break up, oh. Break up with who? Your mother was like, no. You are going to write a love letter. I said, love letter, Bawo. She said, I don't know how to write love letter. She said, I will teach you. I will teach you how to write a love letter. You will write that love letter. You will take it to him. His mother must not see the love letter. And you can in my head, I'm thinking, so I have come to meet you to tell you that I'm breaking up with somebody. Come and console me. And tell me what's the next forward. And then she goes, no, you can't break up. It's not the time for you to break up. What do you mean break up? Do you know your age? You are going to write a love letter. The next thing I knew it, she was writing the letter. Stop. I did not write that letter. Stop. She wrote the letter. She said, you write it. Oh yeah. She sealed it. Put it in an envelope. And she told me, oh yeah, go and deliver it. Stop. Yeah. Your mother did that. Stop. I delivered the letter. I think that night, Kay came over to the house, and then we resolved our issues, and then we got married. Yeah, we got married. And, it's funny how, when we were dating, I was doing my NYSC at that time, and he led me to Christ. Yeah, he led me to Christ. Bear in mind, of course, my dad was a Christian, but my mom was a Muslim.
Most kids tend to somehow
yeah, and also because we had lost our dad at a tender age. So we were Muslims, and of course, Gigi, Muslim, so we just continue. But you see, at that time, Auntie Bimbo had converted. Tolu was still in between. Of course, Sumbo, Olamide too was nowhere. So she was ready to go. If anybody goes right, I will go right. So, and I remembered when I was in town doing my NYSC, he actually told me categorically that you would have to be a Christian. I can't marry a Muslim. Wow. And then I was still doing stronger that no, I'm a Muslim. Worst case, the children, you'll be taking the children to church.
I'll do my own thing.
I said, no, there has to be unity. You have to be a Christian.
The house divided cannot stand. Anyway, we go ahead.
Yeah. So I remembered I was in my NYSC camp, and then they called altar. They made an altar call, and I came out.
Wow.
Yeah, and I became a born again. And I didn't tell anybody in the house, so I would sneak to go to church.
Wow.
I was going to TPH at that time, so he would come and pick me. So he was going to House on the Rock. And then, so when I got to House on the Rock, I didn't understand, because I was fresh.
You're fresh, so
it was loud. I mean, listening to sermon was loud. I didn't understand. The praise and worship was easy because, of course, you listen to songs in
fair enough.
That was when Kirk Franklin was coming, CC Winans, so things like that, and it was easy. Praise and worship was easy, and of course, we went to it wasn't as if we went to a Muslim school.
True.
So we sang hymns in my secondary and primary school, song of praise. So I knew I was conversant with many of the hymns and all of that. So I became born again, and then I would sneak to go to church. My friend Peju Alatishe then will take me to church, and then after a while I told him, what? I don't want to go to your church. Let me find my own. Let me find my space.
Yes.
So I would go to a redeem near the house. And then I started getting myself acquainted. He got me a Bible. I would read. I would pray. I was praying. So when I knew that I was going to get married to him, I didn't like his job. I didn't like his job at all. Because, as a young girl, you dream of what you want.
Of course.
I wanted to be honest, I wanted to be like your mom.
Career
woman, career driven. Because I watched your mom come back. I used to go and visit your mom in stock exchange. There were things that we would do in stock exchange. I would see the way she was doing things and all of that. And then when she comes back from work, straight into the kitchen, So I wanted to be like,
I can do it now.
I want to be a career woman. And then, of course, your mom had actually found when I did my IT, African Petroleum, and then she actually got me a bank job. So I was enjoying it.
Yes.
Then Kay now came along. And, we got married. I became born again. I was happy. I was praying, I remembered that when I got pregnant, he told me, for 6 months, I didn't do antenatal. Yeah. I didn't go for my antenatal. I didn't go at all. And then he would tell me, lock yourself in the room and be praying. You need to pray what you want on the child. I don't want just anybody touching my child.
So he was very spiritual.
He was very spiritual.
Not just religious, but
he was spiritually sound. And he would tell me, you need to pray. I remembered, well, so I had done my registry and then I got pregnant. And the wedding was in December, the end of November. And of course, I was going to Ijebu because I did my wedding in Ijebu. And I will come back sporting. And then I'll tell him, I'm sporting. You see, it's because I've not gone for antenatal.
You need to check. You need to do
And then he will tell me, oh, you've not prayed well. Oh, yes, you tell me you've not prayed. There is one particular verse in Exodus. I need to, let me check on my Bible. Yes. Exodus, where it says, God will bless your water and God will bless your food and water, and sickness will be far away from you, and you will not be barren. Yes, I'm going to get that scripture.
Let's get it too.
Well, I think it's Exodus. Maybe
Well, paraphrasing, but
yeah, maybe Exodus 25. It says God will bless your food and water, and sickness will be far away from you. I'll find it. Then you can.
I will put it in my notes.
And I was reading that every day, and I was sporting. Yes, and sometimes I will intentionally leave my pants for you to see. And then he will tell me, you have not prayed well. You have not prayed well. That if you pray, that's already that child is formed. There's nothing that is going to happen to that child. And that is a boy. And I didn't do scan to check if it was a boy or a girl. So I didn't do it. So of course, I have so many questions. No, you will ask. So I think after 6 months, then I went for my antenatal. And I remembered the doctor telling me, oh, why are you just coming now? You should have started your antenatal since 3 months. And I said, oh, my husband said I shouldn't come for antenatal. And the doctor looked at me like, are you joking? Then he said, well, the baby is fine, everything. And then when it was time for me to have my baby, he was in the room and he was kabashing. Yes. He was kabashing. And of course, I gave birth, everything was normal. And when it was time to name my child, and you know how it is a new first mom. Yes, you're writing down all the names, exactly. All the names you can think of. I've written down all the names I want, And I remembered on the naming ceremony, he walked into the room and he said, Slim, cancel all those names. I found a name. And that name must not be in short form. Always, you need to write the name in full. So when I was going to register Tomiwo to one of the schools in London, they were like, can we just write Tom?
No.
I said, no, his name is not Tom. And then they said, can we just write Thomas? No. I said, no, his name is not Thomas. Then maybe I should just write Tommy. No. You need to write the name in full, please. So, of course, the name Ojoluwa Tomiwo. That means God's eyes is enough for me to behold. Hey. So, of course, we struck out all the names. And then we presented the name to the priest. And I guess he was trying to tell me something, that I was going to have a short life. First and along the line, I had my child in October. He had a stroke. I think I remember that day. It was as if my whole world crumbled. You know how you have found someone, and you see, I'll be forever grateful to your mom, because your mom telling me to write that love letter. I'm like, you have moved on from all this love letter thing, Charlie. And he took care of me, when I think your mom must have seen something like, is this girl okay? Because I'm sure, I don't think she saw a crystal ball. I'm sure if she had seen a crystal ball that she'd have said, no, let him go. Let him go. Yeah. And he took care of me. He took care of my sisters. He loved me.
He took care of me too. The small one that I even remember. Yeah. Yes, he fought us.
Yes, he loved me. You know how you just a young girl in marriage, I don't live a single. The only thing I do is cook and take care of my child. So like nobody nobody can carry Tomiwo. Oh, nobody. No, even not a nanny can even touch his shawl. No. My work dedicatedly cook and take care of my child. And I had everything. I had everything you can think of. Before I cough like this, I have jewelry that's come out. And the day I heard he had a stroke, I didn't even understand it until I saw him half paralyzed and he couldn't move. And I entered the room and was like, what's this? What's going on? And then he said, yeah, I had a stroke.
He said it.
Yeah. And I said, what's wrong with your mouth? Where's your mouth? He said, yeah, but don't worry, I will be back to normal. And then the next thing, we are booking a flight. We had to collapse like 17 seats on BA to put him on the stretcher. We had 4 doctors. And before we knew it, we landed a hospital in London. Everything was just moving fast.
And you have a child.
And I have a 6-month-old baby. I remember carrying him on the flight and I was crying from takeoff.
I can imagine.
The plane landed, they brought him out, they checked him to the hospital, and every day I was going to the hospital. I remember there is one taxi driver in London. He would always take me from my mother-in-law's house to Wellington. And I think for like maybe, when someone is working like a robot, clockwork, 8 a.m.
Like you were not even there.
I was not even there. 8 a.m. the guy comes, I carry my child. We're in Wellington. And one day the guy said, what are you always coming to do here? You're a young woman. What's going on? And you don't look well. I said, oh, my husband is not feeling well. He said, what? An elderly man said, your husband is not feeling well. How old are you? I told him, I think then I was 29. Yes, I was 29. Because it's 20 years this year. And then he looked at me. And then every day from Wellington, when he was discharged, we got an apartment. I would have his bath. I would have Tomiwo's bath. Take care of him, take care of Tomiwo. We did that for like 3 months. We came back to Nigeria, and then trouble started. He died. Really, I can never ever forget. I sat down at the staircase and I was screaming. I remembered your mom, your uncles, everybody coming. Because your mom had come to see us at the hospital in Wellington, and I'd spoken to your mom, and I was updating, like it's progressing, every and things like that. And I said, yes, this is the reality. My son was barely moved. Trouble started in paradise. Let me put it down. Yes, trouble. Real trouble, voila. When they say, what is shele? And how you will grow. There are some things that will happen to you. You will just grow old overnight. Yes. You will mature overnight. And I always say it. God cannot give you more than you cannot bear. He will not give you more than. He knows your strengths. And he knows that by the time he pour out his own strength in you. Today, I'm glad, I'm happy, I'm blessed that I'm talking about it. 20 years ago, I was, how will I put it? I was like a zombie. I was a zombie. I remembered that when it happened, after the burial, I packed my bag. I said I was going to live in England. Yeah, I remembered. I didn't want to do anything with God. I didn't want to have anything to do with God, really. Because
is it the God that
Because I was thinking, here I am, lost both parents. I found solace in my friend, my best friend, my lover, my everything. K was my everything. K was someone that, before I do anything, I will have to ask him. You know, we will talk about everything and anything on the face of the earth. He will plot coup with my sisters against me. You understand? My sisters were happy that, oh, finally our sister got married, you know, and he was our everything. Do you understand?
Did you see him as, okay, God has taken my parents, or my parents are dead. Now I have this amazing man. Right? He has come. We have our child. By God's grace, he was doing well. He brought me to Christ. He was treating you like a princess. Quote unquote, this is what the genesis of soft life.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was soft life.
And then, all of a sudden,
I had everything. It vanished. And you know, I remembered someone said, Shade is sports. How is she going to cool?
Hey.
So, of course, I was angry with God. Ha, Yele. Yele. You know when they say God dealt with me?
Hey.
I'll tell you something. Yele, God dealt with me because, you know, I was angry. I did not want to pray. I did not want to see my Bible. I did not want to hear anything that has to do with God. Because in my head, I'm thinking, because I prayed. I was praying that God will save him. God will spare him. I was praying. I was fasting. I was half my size. So I had faith. And you know, that born again.
Yes, faith. Now when you feel like you can't do anything.
I know. Command fire. Fire will come.
Like Elijah.
And then I was, wait, no, this one is going to be my testimony. And then we will pray together, we will do chemical, we will hold hands, I will anoint the doorpost in my house, I will be bashing that home. In fact, at some point, you will look at me and be like, I'll say, no, you are not speaking negatively. There is power in the tongue.
Yes.
You are speaking positively.
Yes.
So my mother-in-law, of course, my mother-in-law will tell me, let's go to church. And then I will wait abuses on her. That don't tell me rubbish. Pray that what? What are you praying about? No, don't tell me rubbish. My sister-in-law will come and tell me, I will tell them, don't tell me about Christ.
Anything God, I don't want to.
Yele, one day. Jesus. Yele, one day. Someone fell ill. In London. Yele, kò funny. Yele, kò funny. So it's been, and you know when you call the hospital in London, they'll tell you, is it blue? Is it blue? If it's not blue, so why are you here? He wasn't eating, he wasn't drinking, anything he takes, he throws it out. And he was so skinny. And I was afraid. And then I think in the middle of the night, I will never forget this day. I looked up to the sky and I said, God, what have I done to you? What is it? What exactly have I done? I promise I will serve you. Okay, tomorrow. This was the conversation I was having with God. Yele. My sister-in-law, my sister-in-law had asked me if I was going to church the night before, and I said, no, don't tell me about church. Who are you? And someone else was, but you know when you carry it,
they'll be flopping.
It will be flopping. And I opened the window. I remember it was a summer night. I opened the windows and I said, God, what is it? What have I done to you? Why are you punishing me? Is there something that I have done? Am I suffering on someone's sin? Please, God, just forgive me and heal my child. I promise you, if you heal him, don't let him fall ill all the days of his life. I promise you I will go to church. I promise you I will go to church. Yele, the next morning, someone became well. Stop. Yeah. He became well.
See, when God wants to get your attention.
he became well.
Mm.
He woke up. You know, I don't like Indomie. I don't eat Indomie. He woke up and he said, Mommy, can I have noodles? And my sister-in-law looked at me. He ate noodles. He drank Ribena that morning. He drank Capri Sun. He was eating everything. And I said, Bola, let's go to church. I'm ready. Bola looked at me and said, Mrs. O, you want to go to church? I said, yes, Bola. I just want to go to church. I didn't wear earrings. I remember the outfit I was wearing. I wore one short denim skirt and a sandal. And I carried my child. I just sat down there in church. I didn't say anything. I just sat down. And then after church service, she said, should we go for lunch? I said, yes. Let's go for lunch. We got to lunch. Toby ate. Like, he ate everything. The fever, the cold sores, everything disappeared. Yele, yes. Yele, everything disappeared. Well, and I decided that, okay, I'll move back. I mean, we were on summer holiday and registered in one school, Motherhood. And I said, yeah, Motherhood. And I said, you know what? I'll go back. I'll go back. And going back on the plane, I sat down and there's so many things that was going through my head. How am I going to navigate without a husband? How am I going to train my child? What actually do I want? And you know, at this period, I'm not the type that hears from God, or when when people say, oh, Holy Spirit said, I will even be looking at them like, Holy Spirit said, indeed. I'm not. But you see, I just told myself I will take each day as it comes. And I promised myself that this one child, this one child, I am going to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, I'm going to give him everything. And every day we'll go to school, we'll pray, I'll just come back home. I would ask myself, what do I want to do? How do I move forward? In terms of, do I want to work? I knew I wasn't going to work because I wanted to dedicate my time with my child. I wanted to do my school runs with my child. So I knew, and then at that time, my sisters were living with me, and Auntie Bimbo was in London at that time. So I moved to London. So it was me, Tolu, Subo, and Olande. So I would take him to school, I will bring him back. I'll take him to school, I'll bring him back. And then eventually I registered my business. I said, okay. Started doing a bit of buying and selling. And then when I'm going to Dubai, I'll pull him out of school. We'll go to Dubai together. We'll go to Dubai together. Everywhere we're going together. Everywhere I was carrying him. In my buggy, I was carrying him everywhere. And then one day, I don't hear from God. Trust me. Like I said, I'm not one of those that will say, I heard God. No. Yes. And then I think I healed with some of Sissy Winans songs. My friend Wiwa River song. Wiwa is my friend. So I was listening to some of Wiwa's songs. In fact, most of Wiwa's songs, I would listen to it. They became prayer points for me. Yeah. They became prayer points for me. So I would listen to some of his songs and everything. Then one day in my room, I sat down and I heard clearly Isaiah 60 verse 19. I heard clearly Isaiah 60 verse 19. That the sun will not go down on you, neither shall the moon withdraw itself. But I will be unto you an everlasting light. Then of course it goes, your little one will become 1,000. Really, I found rest. Yes, I remembered Isaiah 60 verse 9. This one was going to make you are saved clear. remember, and I'm like, my little one become 1,000. So you see, I just started having assurance in God. Do you understand? Confidence in God. So I'm working, you know how you're doing business, but you're looking at your bank account, does not translate, don't look as a to your lifestyle. Do you understand what I'm saying? And of course, Kay had a business, he had a partner that was, sorting some things out. But after a while, we stopped.
Yes,
we stopped. And I dedicated myself to my child. And gradually, my sisters were getting married.
They're going off doing their own life.
Yeah. And then, and from year 2, when Tomiwo was in primary 2, I knew I wanted him to go abroad. And you see, Yele, God is awesome. Ha! Yele, nobody can tell me not to serve God. Oh. This God. This God. Oh, no. Yele, God is awesome. And He also surrounded me with good people. Good people, focused people, people who have foresight.
Exactly.
Yes. You see, people that you roll to and you tell them solution and the solution.
Yes, oriented people. Yes.
Not, so I'm grateful to God for such people, my community, and I remembered when I was going to go to do London, and I told my friend, she was a bit skeptical because she was afraid that the money, and in her head she was saying, well, Shade, God knows how to sort you out too. Me and my husband. I'm like, God knows how to sort me out. She said, yes. She said, because I've watched you. I've seen how
there's a grace.
I've seen how you will say you need 1 million by 6 p.m. And by 5:59, the 1 million will come knocking at the door. He will come knocking at your door and he will fall on your laps. So, Shade, we can't afford it. So, one day I announced it, I said, you will afford it. I said, because you see, let me tell you something. And this is the way I see it. You see, people always believe that the God that made provision for 1 naira is different from the God of 1 million pounds. To me, it's the same God.
Same God.
So if God can make provision for 1 naira,
what is 1 million?
He can make provision for 1 billion pounds.
Period.
So by year 2, I remembered I'll write out schools. And I remember clearly God saying, you see these schools that you wrote is for your pocket too. Yes. Oh yes. I remember. He said it in Yoruba. He said, Ufekebe Umajeba. Yeah. Meaning you want to follow the crowd. Then you'll be punished. Yeah. You'll be punished. You'll be beaten. Do not follow the crowd. So of course, I have to rearrange myself that, okay, is it God telling me that this one don't think we are not doing? Or so of course every day. So bear in mind, I was saving £30 every day when it was in year 2. I was doing £30 every day, and I rearranged my list because I had chosen, those schools that who I believe are going to take their pictures. They make it. Those pictures, look very nice on on their website. You look like
now.
I want you look like it's who I believe that are going to pictures. I want Chatter House. I want Winchester. Harrow. I'm going to look at those schools, and then now tells me, Oma Jegba. But let me tell you that Oma Jegba, I will tell you how it translates. I now understood the meaning of Oma Jegba. This God. So I'll write, and then one day I started doing £30. I found, every night I'll go on the internet. I'll check good schools guide, best schools guide.
Times.
And let me tell you something that I missed. You see, when you have a dream and you nurture it, it will surely come to pass. When you have a dream, you nurture it, and you are focused.
Yes.
You might not believe this. I told your mom one day. You see people who used to have a picture on your wall of your school.
Yes. It's even downstairs. Yeah.
I remember when growing up, when I saw that picture, I said,
you use it as a point of contact.
My child will have this picture.
I hope people are hearing.
Growing up, that picture, I can't remember if it was St. Catherine's.
That's the Princess and their school. Yes.
No, but at that time, Princess and
Malvern.
Princess and Yele are not. Duchess are not gone. You and Sini are gone.
Malvern.
And that picture was in your living room in Alaka, if you remember. I remember it, and I'll look at that picture and I'll be like, one day my child will have this prophetic point of everything all doing. And I will look at it. So one day, that year 2, Tomo was in year 2 and I started looking for schools. So I found other schools. Kingswood was among the school. I found another one, Bishop Stotford. So whenever I click on the school, the first thing I click on is the fees. I found Kingswood. I looked at it. They said part of their on the website. On the website is part of their objectives is a Christian school. They have Christian values, and then every year I'll check their performance on the Good School Guide. And you see, for me, they were not number 1. In fact, they were not up. They were between 1 to 20. But for me, that wasn't the case. The case was when it is time for my child to go there, their performance will rise. Do you understand? So I'm not bothered as long as it's a good school. They have values
that align with
what I want for my child. So every year I was constantly looking at it. Every year I would tell Tomiwo, go and check their website, look at it. And he will look at it, but he didn't understand. I'll tell him, don't worry, when the time comes, you will understand, but just get yourself acquainted to this. So he will look at it. Sometimes I'll tell him, go and read about it, go and read it, go and do this. And then I started grooming him up.
That's like positive program.
Yes, Saturday morning, before you say good morning to me, go to the study, go and sit down there. I don't care whatever it is that you are doing there, I just don't want to see you. So I was just go there. And he was looking at me like, this is my mother. He's very strict. Because I come from a strict background.
And then Gigi on top.
You cannot fail.
Oh goodness.
You cannot fail. So I did that. So by that time, my friend was already looking for schools for our children. Then one day we just had a conversation. I said, I want to do London. She said, Shadi, we were already on the journey. Hey, I said, if my mates can send 2 children to London, excuse me, I have one. This also is going to London. You may go to the London. And that picture portrait, you will bring it back. You will bring it back. So there was one business meeting we had together because we now became business partners. We were now doing groceries and everything. So there was one business meeting we went for, and she also said she was going to do school visits. So she went. So it was only me in the hotel room, and I sat there and said, hey, my mates has got to do school visits. So we do school visits. And then our girls went to Down House.
Oh, I know Down House. Okay.
And then by the time she came back, she was just thinking that yeah. And by that time, girls were year 6. They were about to do the entrance examination. Togo was in year 4. Yele, when I got to Lagos, I called Kingswood. I said, I want to register.
Just in advance.
And then I said, then they were like, oh, don't you think it's too early? I said, I like to do my things early. I said, and I'm registering 2 children. And these are their names. And they were like, okay, we'll be happy. I said, thank you very much. I said, step 1. And then I continued with my savings. Now, when I knew I was convicted in my spirit, I will pray and tell God that God, this is what I want. The fees were staring at me in the face, but I did not allow that to deter me. I did not allow it to be a hindrance, because you know what? I was going somewhere, and I was telling my child, "We are going somewhere. We are going somewhere." And I remember telling my child that you going to London. Not only are you going there to study, you are going there to become somebody. Your university, you will do. You are going there to thrive. You are going there to break cycles. Yes. You are going on a mission. And you have to be focused. And know the child of whom you are. Do you understand? So constantly, I would always have such conversations. And he had to get ingrained. Yes, in his head. We know what we are doing here. Thank you. And you see, I did not treat him like, an only child. I treated him like I had like 5 of him. So I did not tolerate any nonsense. Like you're a leader. It is now that he will say, "Oh, my mom." It's not that when he does some things, I'm like, "Oh, don't worry. I'm tired." But the foundation is set. Yes, it's set. And I did not miss church. It's not that I decided not to go to church. Whenever I did, even no matter how tired I was because of him, we will go to church every Sundays. He will have to go to Sunday school. So that he knows that Christ is God. God is a solid foundation. God is God. I have no other thing. But whenever I'm taking his bath, I would always pray. We would read Psalm inside the water. See, I know that told me that. I remember when we had lunch now. Yes. Yeah. We would always pray. I would pray Psalm 1 into the water. Use it to bath. Every day. The day he was in. I hope people are hearing so that it won't be like. So, Auntie, some people think these things are extreme. What you were doing with that Kingswood is you were actually being prophetic. Yes. That's what you were doing. Some people say it's extreme. No, it is not extreme. See, it is not. It's biblical. It's biblical. And we also create our world with our tongue. You create your world, what you want. I think some days ago, my friend was telling me, "You are not ready to change your car." Shadi, I know you. When you are ready to change your car, that car will come. Because she's seen me done break ground. So she knows, she's like, when you are ready, do you understand? She's seen me break ground and she's seen God come through for me. And she's like, even when they are afraid of me. So of course, when Kingswood came, I told my child, I said, "You are going to that Kingswood." I said, "You will go there and you become their head boy." And I'm sure I'm sure my son will just be like, "Yeah, this woman. This is my mother. This is my mother." So when Kingswood came, I remembered, I looked at the fees. Was shaking. Auntie, it's enough to shake anybody. It's enough. Check that then pounds was 220. But Auntie still at that time it was a lot. It's still a lot. It was a lot. So we met with one woman who was like their educationist. Okay. She helps with admission. Nigerian. And she came to Nigeria. She lives in the UK. She came to Nigeria. We had a meeting with her. And then she goes, "Why Kingswood?" I said, No, Bishop Stotford. She said, "Why Bishop Stotford?" I said, "The school fees is just right for me." And she was like, "Hey." She said, "Well, I don't think you should do Bishop Stotford." She said, "Because one, Bishop Stotford is actually a school, it's actually a very good school, but not for us in terms of exeat. That, you'll be doing exeat and it's actually, she would say it's a full boarding school." Okay. She would say it's actually for
maybe weekly
body, yeah.
Okay.
That is weekly body, but she would not advise it. So I said, okay. So I said, what about Ondo? She said she would advise Ondo because Ondo is a community. It's not an enclosed school. And that besides, the housemaster has a snake as a pet.
The African one, you said, no.
I said, no. Then she don't said, I said, I actually like kids. I said, but auntie, it's fees. She said, don't worry. She said, you're not a widow. She said, I'm a widow and you can actually get bursary. I said, auntie, we don't have British passport. It's green though. That we have. She said, don't worry. Wow. Yele, we filled in the application. She said, I hope you don't mind being mean tested. I said, no, I'm not. She said, that means you need to declare all your financials. I said, why not? I'll do that.
Yes.
Really? We did it. They gave us 25%.
Are you serious?
Really? So I was now down with 3 schools. Kingswood, Bishop Stopford, and St. Peter's, York. And then it was time for us to do school visit. Then we went. As soon as I got to Kingswood, I spoke to the ground. I remembered. Bukola, my friend, was there with her daughter. And my son was there. And as soon as my feet stepped on the ground and I said, I possess this ground. Hey! I'm sure Bukola looked at me like, she has come. She won't let us hear. I looked at my child. I said, you're coming. Period. We had a meeting with the deputy headmaster. Oh, the man was like, oh, we had a Nigerian one time in the 90s. One time? In the 90s. He was the head boy. I looked at my child. I said, you will become the head boy. Yeah. I'm sure they looked at me like, this one just come. We are not even saying this is school we are going to. Yeah, we still have 2 other schools that we are going to. So by the time we went round, I saw the house mistress. I fell in love with her. I saw the bathroom. I said, this is clean. I saw, no, I'm very particular where my child will go to. I saw the room. I said, okay. Everywhere clean. Just to myself, I said, because I'm not doing any goodness. I'm not doing any school visit again. She said, why? I said, because I don't even have the transportation money to go and be spending about, and in this cold weather. I said, because I'm not interested. She was like, hey, so what about? I said, you can go. I said, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, okay, yeah. Wow. This one. I said, told you, I mean, you don't like this school. I said, this is the school. I said, this school. I said, I'm beside Nicola. He's going to become their head boy. I'm sure my son was looking at me like, this my mother is too dramatic. We have not even. I've not even started. So, and that was it. Bukola forced me to go to Bishop Stopford. I just sat down there like this in the meeting. I didn't utter a word really because in my mind, your mind was already. I was not even interested because as soon as we entered the school, their carpets were torn. I was just looking. I was just doing this. I was, to be honest. I couldn't be bothered. Oh Lord God. I could not be bothered. In my head, I was just sitting here. She was asking questions. She was even speaking one nonsense for them. In my head, I think, what has gotten into this guy? Is she okay? Please, let's go. Please, let's go. We are found school. So, they now told us to pay deposits. I paid 1 year fees. I paid 1 year fees. Yes. 1 year. Yeah. I paid 1 year fees. And until when do you used to wash your head? I have one Baba that gives me one soap, and I cannot give anybody this soap. Yeah. And that Baba is my God. Then I paid 1 year fees. And I think I was in credit with them for like 3 years. Yes.
Okay, wait, hold on. Please hold on. I want to pause. John, where is the soap? Yes. I'm very serious.
See me after the camera, I'll give you this soap.
Yeah.
I'll give you
manufacturer.
So, wow. And of course, you know how I had jobs and my focus was my child. My focus was my focus was on my child. My child said, this one, because I also didn't want a situation whereby, because bear in mind, all other grandchildren lived abroad. So my son was the only. So my mother-in-law would tell me that she doesn't want him to be different too. I'll tell her, he cannot be different.
Don't worry.
He can. Because she was always afraid that.
So that he doesn't feel left out.
He doesn't feel this. So I tell her, don't worry. Don't worry. This one. This is a child of God, child of grace. He cannot be left out. So 3 years on, we're doing Kingswood. He was doing well. To God be the glory. Everything was going. And of course, there was increase in exchange rate.
Of course.
Now, remember I told you, God said, oh my Jeba.